all the way into the pool of social media is when you finally give up, and you guys gave up a long time ago, but you just say, okay, can I turn it on and just talk continuously for some sufficient amount of time? And I've been doing that the last week.
Wow.
And it's funny for something that makes you uneasy. And the guys I work with, like Beckett Fusett, have been saying from the beginning, George, just turn the thing on, start talking.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm any great person.
We're not, dude, we're not like that though. I mean, we're trying, we were just interviewing people for 10 years.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know that.
So now it's different than like what you can do, or you can just like turn it on live and start talking, right?
But y'all been live a lot. Well, I've been doing this a week, but you've been coming on live for at least a few years, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But it's gotta be 1,000 live shows, I think, now almost between.
Okay, well, to our point, are we live?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay,
George Howard, welcome to Gray America.
Ah, man, it's awesome to be here. It really is. I look forward to talking with you.
Yeah, the creator of Cosmic Summit 2025, the world's #1 heterodox history gathering. We're going to talk about that, of course, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, yeah, it's going good. I watched that. We'll talk about the video you recommended. I watched it. I did with the guys from Italy and the pyramid stuff. So congratulations on making an episode out of that. And they're coming to the summit too, so that should be interesting.
Man, the geopolymer Italians?
No. These are the Comet Scan Project. The guys who actually pointed the satellite at the pyramids and said that they found vast chambers and structures and whatnot.
What's your take on that?
Oh God, how
because
long?
I've got it from sort of both sides.
Can I rant?
People I really respect, right? On the one side, I got guys like the ethical skeptic and guys like this saying like, "Nah, these are good scans," and then, but the Snake Bros and Ben seem to come from the other side, and they seem to be pushing back on it.
Well, when you're a promoter, you're not going to name names. Like, because we got.
You don't name.
But I know not name names. And listen, no, there's so many people are if you want to call it sides or whatever. There's so many different opinions that no one is unique. There are sets of opinions, and I can I rant?
Yeah,
Snake Brothers used to let me rant.
Yeah, you can rant, of course.
No, I just the thing has kind of upset me. Not terribly. Where should I come from on it? Okay, so I was going up to this kind of neat context when it was breaking, and they had that press conference. Me and Beckett Fusett, who works with me on the social media, went up to New York to see Adam Young, and he's doing the vases, right? And we were going to go to the Metropolitan Museum, and then we had a thing with him at the Beekman Hotel that is a Cosmic Summit ticket from our little company. And we had about 50 or 60 people manhandle the vases, not literally, but, come and spend time with them and then hear a lecture from Adam. And we had that live streamed and whatnot. Okay. So in that context, which was kind of very Egyptian-y, boom, this thing happens, but I'm out of town. I mean, in our world, normally nobody would care, but things move quick. And when you're you kind of want to take advantage. I'm like, holy cow, there's some great new mystery with the pyramids. And that's a central subject to the Cosmic Summit, and it's in less than 90 days. So this is good. I want people to be interested in these subjects. So I start out, that's my first stop. I'm not thinking, is it true? Is it not true? I mean, it's like, okay, good. More interest, the better. All press is good press. And these are obscure subjects. We forget that because sometimes it's still not something most people think about. And if you can get them to think about it even if they think somebody's a fraud or something or whatever, I think it's good. So I get excited when there's attention like that. Other people feel like, they're now being looked to make a determination whether it's true or not. So they'll go out and talk to their millions of followers, and believe me, there are plenty of them. And then and go out and make some type of pronouncement about what they think, which I guess is fair enough. But my God, do it properly and responsibly. And I've seen people that just hadn't read any of the stuff. I mean, done the 5-minute Google. And there's some very obvious facts that now I've come to know, to cut to the chase, for Dr. Filippo Biondi and Dr. Armando May, and I believe Corrado Malaga, or maybe 2 wives, are coming to Greensboro. And at 1:30 on Saturday, the 21st, after lunch, we're going to have them on the main stage for an hour and a half, hosted by Jay Anderson of Project Unity. That's right. Who was the first podcast with him.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to meeting Jay.
Yeah, so do I, man. And I'm already glad to get to know him through text and talk and whatnot. He's just a great guy. He's a great communicator, and he's smart, and he's on the cutting edge of all sorts of stuff. And he's got an incredible Rolodex, and we're proud to have him come to the Cosmic Summit as a featured guest, just like y'all are. Well, you're kind of a speaker, Graham, because you're on a panel.
Well, just a little panel. I mean, I'm just going to be on there. I'm not going to say anything.
You never tell what we're going to go nuts out on social media or after it's posted, right? So yeah, everything's same size until 1 million people have to watch that Atlantis panel because it was so funny and fun and informed. Because that will be a well-informed group.
I will get over my fears and try my hardest and my best. I will do my best.
Did you get anxious doing public speaking?
Well,
in other words, on a stage?
This is going to be interesting because this is, I mean, I might be speaking out of turn, but since we've started the show, it's definitely the biggest stage he's going to be on.
That is so interesting.
No, we're just in in one of the side rooms on a panel, right? We're not on the main stage or anything like that.
No, those are big side rooms. I mean, 250.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
250 people. Yeah.
Oh, and it's being live streamed, so hopefully add in thousands of more.
Yeah.
And everybody, please know that the live stream is available to everybody. It's $75. And if enough people paid that $75, I could lower the other prices. I mean, this whole thing is such an economic nightmare, and I don't want to get into that.
Oh yeah,
there's so many other fun things.
We never got into it, honestly. I mean, the paradigm shut down, and we were big fans of that. I mean, when we
that's right, y'all had a toe in it. That's how your damn podcast started.
Yeah, well, yeah, we went to the paradigm, and then we started the podcast, and then we were the 2014. We had a booth and all that, which sort of helped us. And then the paradigm went to shit. And actually, I should say shout out to Scotty Roberts. I know he's in the hospital getting an operation, so hopefully he bounces back from that okay. But that went to shit, and we were talking about wanting to do events with Randall and our own stuff, and we were kind of talking about how we wanted to have a sort of paradigm swing to it. And you know, the way we ended up doing it was the way we could figure out it was sort of a niche where we go to location. But it's also just like,
what do you mean there?
We go like when we do our events, we'll do like we're going to Easter Island. They're more like adventure, you know.
But that's modern times. I'm interested in your pivot because it was more intelligent decision after getting in the event business. You were in the event business, and then you said, well, let's just talk about
that's just how we started. We started on location.
But at the same time, you said, I don't want to do events.
It's because the financial, we looked at how financially insane it was to try and do a paradigm thing, like not insane, but just challenging, you know, paying the guests, paying everybody to get there, and then trying to sell the tickets and getting everybody there. Because yours is very much paradigm-ish as far as like, the guests don't just come and leave right away. They hang around, they mingle with people. Like it's like
which is great. Which you're providing a great product. It's just making it.
That's great, but it's just hard to make it financially. We just saw as that collapsed, we thought,
and we weren't.
We want to risk that, right?
We weren't involved.
What's that, Dan?
We weren't involved in the paradigm directly, but we were like close enough to it to see that the finances were a huge stress point, and that you know, it was a huge problem year after year.
I don't know whether this is making me feel better or worse.
Well, I don't know.
There's still time to buy passes, and they're actually selling like fucking. They're selling no better than last year, which is kind of hopeful because definitely lost money last year, lost money the first year. You can't lose money 4 years.
No, exactly.
And I ain't trying to, decision, but boy, I tell you, it's a tough thing. But so we went up to New York to film this thing and to film Adam and then do a live thing because that might be our pivot. Like, in fact, I'll tell you now, we're going to go up with Randall to the Beekman Hotel on September 20th of this year, 3 months after the summer.
You stole my weekend, you bastard. I was trying to do something with Randall that same weekend, and he's like, I'm booked up.
Well, that's good that it's kind of, that helps confirm it for me because I've only heard secondhand that that he is definitely coming. Or I brought it up with him and then he had to look and all that. Okay, well, we got him good. And he wants to go to New York. And I think it would be first of all, the venue was incredible. And if you do it smaller, you can do it things. I like to do things kind of fancy, or at least as fancy as I can. And the Cosmic Summit's got 6 meals, you know. I mean, it's home cooking. It's not fancy food. Well, it is kind of nice, but whatever. Try to do it right. I want all those factors in there. Some free liquor, you know, that kind of stuff. And what's my point here? Oh, you can do that for a room of 100 people and maybe pull it off. The problem is you and only have one camera. What screws us up is we have to have 3 live stream camera setups to film 27 speakers over 2 days. There's just no way you can't work it out. You wouldn't be filming somebody, or you wouldn't be live streaming. And without getting way too far in the weeds, that drives about $100 grand right there. And we have tried to beat that out of it various ways. Should have crowdsourced and just said, is there anybody that can wave a wand and just for free? You would think it'd be easy in this environment these days to have a camera set up. But then you say, well, where are they standing on? They got to stand on stage. Well, who's going to do the backdrop? Blah, blah, blah. Where's the lighting guy? How are you sure the sound is going to work? And you're like, then if you got all this other money going into other parts of it, you don't want it to come out shitty. So you raise all the boats, and that's the Summit's personal problem, is how to cut that AV cost out. And there's some other ones, big ones, but that'd make it float. But we'll figure it out. If you went and did these small things, that could be fun. I just would hate to sacrifice some of it, you know. And social media income. If our social media continued to grow and actually paid like it seemed to at the first, even though we had far less viewers, that could offset it. I'd be happy to run it as a loss every year and fill what period is a loss. Don't even have to make money for years. As a loss, if the social media filled it back in. So you lose money on the event, and then it would generate income. That'd be a neat model. And that's the most hopeful view of what could happen over the next year, is that we release the content from this year and we wait 3 or 4 months, you know, and I encourage people, don't let that keep you from coming to the thing, because, you know, whatever, for obvious reasons, it's more fun to come see it and see it live too than to wait 3 or 4 months. That's my point. If this stuff comes out and it does really well on social media, maybe that dynamic will start.
Right.
Because we're getting a lot of views to Cosmic Summit. That's been the fun part. I mean, it's millions and millions. I mean, I never really thought. I mean, I'm an original tech guy. As I have a friend making fun of me frequently about it now. She's a tech guy, but I am a tech guy, kind of. And but I never thought I would have some kind of social media thing. I mean, I used to do this blog for years and always impressed, get 50,000 views a month. I was really used to that. And then Cosmic Summit for 2 years got 50,000 views a month, because we put out 3 videos a day, every day, every Monday, you know, literally every day. And when I signed the contract with Beckett, I said, there's no way this young man is going to pull this off. And for the next 3 months, which is only a 3-month thing, give me 3 videos a day. So we'll probably have to recalibrate. I'll probably like the service, but there's just, you know, let's put a true number in there. No, man, 2 years of 3 videos a day. And if you do that and throw in the long form from the Summit, the algorithms like it, and it's a damn interesting subject, and they've got a, you know, good shorts team and all of that, which is a lot of the game now. So we've got Facebook just ran ahead of YouTube. It was like first I was watching Instagram, and then you got popular YouTube and got up to 140,000 subscribers. See, I've got my play button.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Got it in January, then got another 35,000 subscribers, and then it just went like flatlining.
Yeah,
all of our stuff just dropped to like 20% on.
It'll pick back up. The YouTube.
Y'all seen some of that? Yeah, I know, man. But this one's tough to watch. But I hadn't been in the game a full year yet since things have gone viral. Because then we went viral. Okay, so then we're getting about 50,000 views of Beckett stuff for almost 2 years a month. And I'm like, well, that's good. That means you're getting your brand out. And I'm trying to have this event. It's not all about the social media, but I got a professional face on it, right? And then we had one go viral on July 4th after the Summit last year. And then it just went ape shit on YouTube for months and months and months. And then when it died away, to soothe you as things do sometimes, Facebook went apeshit, and it's continuing to get 1,000 followers a day. Not to
Wow.
brag, but this is not me. This is a movement, right? Or at least one reflection of a movement. 1,000 other people a day, that's a lot day in, day out. And it's up to like 220,000.
Yeah, and then
Facebook
YouTube will hit like you'll just have another YouTube video the algo will hit again, and then that same sort of scenario will play out again. I mean, we haven't had a lot of success on YouTube, but from the people I've talked to, it's like it kind of goes in spurts like that. It's not like all your videos keep growing. It's like they all sort of sit there, and then you have, you know, your 1 in every 100 videos really takes off, and that just puts in a swath of people that, which is kind of a, we've noticed we do have a Canadian political channel that does all right, and an audiobook channel that does all right. And it's, I mean, we had the same thing where we published.
I've always wanted to do an audiobook collaboration of some sort with y'all. We've talked about it several times. There's so many great opportunities for books that aren't audio yet in our subjects.
When we started that, we were getting like, I think like our first month, we really started going hard. We made like $1,000 and we were like, oh man, this is a great new revenue source. And then it just went like same thing.
That's right. Because was it controlled by algorithms one way or another?
Yeah.
What you're getting paid, what they're paying per minute or whatever.
Yeah, and then the views just fell off too. It's like you just need to, it's hard to know what's going on. I don't even think YouTube really knows what the fuck.
Well, I mean, and it's not even them that gets controlled by algos. There's other things that shouldn't be controlled by algos, and you wonder how they're going up and down. I mean, there's, I don't want to get into the weeds on that.
I find it it's more fascinating when it's hot, but when it's really cooking on YouTube, which has the better interface, the Meta, I don't know, it's not as much fun to check the things. But I tell you, you can go in YouTube and it's incredible all the things you can play with on that damn dashboard. If you're getting millions of views, I mean, that's deep data. And then it fascinates me the fact that I'm developing some kind of deep data. It's mine, you know, just kind of cool, and it's millions. It's got to be useful, and really figured out how to monetize it. But it's, you know, because we've gotten everybody. I mean, I don't want to creep people out, but we've had a professional vacuum on the whole thing since day one. I mean, we've got everybody. We can advertise to them and just cut them and dice them. But away from the commercial part, if you don't mind me bragging, I just love this part. Those people that are watching, let's say YouTube, where you can see it best. For example, if you go and YouTube's got a kind of obscure way to get to your top 500 cities. You actually got to export the file to make it over like 20. But if you export the file, it gives you all 500 from the very top global city that watches you down to the 500th. And it's just incredible, man. I mean, there were several African cities that I'd never heard of that had more viewers than Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which was on the list, where my kids go to school at LSU. It was just these weird things, like where did my hometown of Greensboro, where we have the Cosmic Summit, where does it fall? No, necessarily higher at all. And then the globalness of it is a reflection to me that our subjects are thin. They're thin. This is not basketball or sports. It's just only so many people can be interested in, hopefully more and more, but they're very wide, right? They're equally relevant to every human.
It's also changing. The whole paradigm is changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's exciting content coming all the time. You got the whole paradigm part of it.
Yeah.
And it's evergreen.
And that makes it global.
Yeah.
That we do great relatively in Ethiopia as well as we do. And, you know, it's in the Asian nations and whatnot. So it's wild to think. And I kind of knew that early on, because when I did the Cosmic Tusk blog for still kind of post maybe 3 months or something, but I had 1,000 posts and I would get 50,000 views a month. And I always had a good thing that nobody with a large site would ever use, that show you every single hit, you know, so you could navel gaze and see where people are and all that stuff. And right off the bat, it was like the UN. Same phenomenon, that people were as likely relative per capita or whatever, if you look at it that way. There was never any, like, if it was like our subject was southern US authors, or I don't know, gardening, in Alberta,
it was still spread out.
Well, no, I don't. I think it's more regional. I think some YouTube subjects have a lot of regionality to them, don't they? I mean, a
Oh
lot
yeah, yeah.
don't. Yeah. And these things that we're talking about, and I've considered a very clear overlay with y'all. I've been listening to you for 12 years. I do the politics too, but I keep my mouth shut on camera about politics. But I'm a hard right winger. I have no problem saying that. I mean, I worked for two of the most conservative U.S. senators in the United States for 6 years in the U.S. Senate, carrying their briefcase, and I drank the fucking Kool-Aid, brother. I mean, I know exactly how Washington works. I know exactly which part of which party's right, and it's the right of the right. With now that's said,
The other thing is that it's evergreen, so it's going to be there forever. I mean, the YouTube channel, give that,
very good
10
point.
years when you don't even have to be doing cosmic summits, and you've just got all this this history channel that just keeps playing and keeps playing and keeps growing. The city data would be interesting to think about for going on tour. It's like, oh, well, we're huge in this city, we should do it.
Oh, absolutely. Fantasize about it. Sydney, Australia, man, is always in the top 3 cities, and it seems to outweigh its size. Kind of dramatically. I wish I had it. Should have. If I knew we were going to have this conversation, I would have linked that thing. But
well, you mentioned. Can we get into the weeds a little bit about Adam? About some of the topics. Like you mentioned, you went to see Adam Young, and you did that thing. Does that have anything to do with that post that you posted on your Cosmic Summit there? About wasn't there some kind of scientific retraction controversy over that with Adam Young? And then I also, just in regards to the vases, which is always changing as well, I saw somebody on Matt Beal the other day about how he ordered one of these vases from eBay or something for $50, and it was pretty precise. So I don't know. And it was apparently
I'm talking to it. I mean,
so is there any update there on that stuff?
I think watching with Dr. Max there the other day with Matt is very valuable. But my problem is I didn't watch it. I heard the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still unclear about some parts of it. So people that saw it, including y'all, may say, but the 3 classes of vases, I mean, didn't make me uncomfortable at all. I mean, it's just, there's some modern things that fall into that. So that means you got to give them a lathe. You got to give them a lathe. Nobody's popped up with a modern thing that didn't have a lathe. So you're never going to give that up and call it whatever it was. I'm sure he pinned him down 20%, 15% that are perfect. I don't care if it's a fraction of the form factor, and 15% of them have this unbelievable perfection. And then 85% of them are partially miraculous, or must have been a cruder amazing tool, or a less delft craftsman that didn't care to make it perfect but used the same tool. Okay, so that's not a big give. Now, did we all get out ahead of ourselves? Every vase that, of course I did 1,000 times. I've said, oh, they're all perfect, assuming, which is a total assumption, when really fair. But it's a fun subject, and there's no downside of being wrong about it. So back to the Comet pyramid researchers that are coming to Greensboro and bringing the fucking receipts, man. I had interviewed them on my podcast, pretty popular one last week, most popular I've ever done, and had Filippo and Armando on there. And the only shortcoming to the technical part of the podcast is it was humming in his room, and I thought it was HVAC. And at some point, I need to go back and watch it and see if it was. I don't know how
it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't really that bad.
Okay, yeah, hold on. But didn't I say to him, "What's that sound?" And he said, "That's the computer's running."
Yeah, it's the computer. Yeah,
yeah. Well, see, that I just thought there's something cool about that, and what's going on there is he's back there run that data. Now they are perfectly free to go up to Switzerland to some technical conference and show the data, and that goes viral before the Cosmic Summit. But each day suggests to me, and just the communications we've had, and I wouldn't put them on a thing, that they're going to come and tell us what the hell that computer's spitting out. And God knows all the stuff that they didn't include in the clearly accidental, call it ham-handed, poorly formatted abstract obtained by Tever Grassi that goes viral, and everybody treats that. In our own community as well, they all treat it the same. In fact, there is no our community in this. That everybody's a skeptard and giving them shit about saying that they're grand staircases. Generally, they'll overdo what they actually said. But yeah, that's right. It was accompanied the unofficial, hey, Trevor, you can have this. And I actually I kind of get Trevor Grossi in that he was being a little bit to that team as I was for many years to the Younger Dryas Boundary team, where you're the most enthusiastic person that's on the email chains. And I don't know how far Trevor, how much involved with, but maybe he gets on a paper if they publish it. I don't know. That would be like me getting to be on Younger Dryas papers. But they would give me things. And it's a little bit like me getting something early. I was more savvy than this because I used to work in the U.S. Senate, right? I know how to keep a secret. And Trevor puts it on there. He doesn't know it's going to go viral. I think it's fun to hear him say that. And then 6 million hits later in 2 hours or something. And then, of course, people all take shots at it and say these guys are ahead of their skis. Well, scientists, they're not good PR people. The ones you worry about are the ones that do have good PR people, like Avi Loeb. I know everybody's a fan of his, but that's a great example. You know, it's the guys that are out there that are actually doing radar tomography, have never done a damn press release in their life. Somehow in 30 years, Filippo Biondi, to my knowledge, has not authored any books about the pyramids. Armando has, and they're good ones. Okay. So he brought along somebody that has some opinions on, you know, deep Egyptian archaeology. And so like I said, this was a rant, and then our side, such that it be, I think I heard comments that I was just like, this is just mean girl shit, man.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it kind of was. I mean, I saw a bunch of people pushing it that were really making assumptions both ways. Really, I mean, people were just, you know.
Well, I've at least a half dozen times I've seen people who should know better say that they didn't compare it to modern structures.
But
when
they did.
harmonicsars.com, which is the third click, if you Google Dr. Filippo Biondi, that's with 2 P's, 1 L, will show up his webpage, which will show you at least 2 dozen pictures of it being used on everything from oil to gas to concrete structures that have it's not perfect, but you can see it's kind of seeing something there. Which right there, if somebody said anything along those lines, and I'm not talking about commenters on YouTube, fuck those people. They don't have to do their homework. But who didn't get that they're doing that and then expect more. And a significant number of people might have been able to say for at least the last couple of weeks, they're coming to the Cosmic Summit. Maybe they'll show some more stuff. How about give them one more round of press?
Yeah.
Since the first round of press was a press conference, but they didn't think it was going to go global. Maybe they come now, and they have promised. They said it'll be, you know, very in-depth new information, and y'all will be in the room.
Yeah, it's hard when you're in the midst of all that to think about how it's going to be accepted by everybody if you don't lay out like, hey, we've used this technology for this, and here's the pictures of how we showed this underground facility in Europe or Switzerland or whatever. Now we're going to show you how, like, you could because you're getting caught up in it. You think people aren't going to question those basic sort of assumptions or something like that. You know,
but it's the audience that has audiences that needs to give them a fucking break.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Because this thing was viral. And you know, I needed to ask Filippo, and they're great to email with and talk with, but I've only spoke with them once on that podcast. But exactly what was the deal with the artist renderings? There's some in the 22 paper have a little bit similar feel, and then there are more in this one. And this isn't a paper. It's a poorly formatted abstract. I mean, some of the pages, like, they don't have the headers right and stuff. And this is something they gave to Trevor, and he happens to put it up, and everybody ties them to it. It's not signed Filippo and Armando even, you know, or whatever. It just makes me mad. Okay. It looks to me, and I shouldn't say this because I don't know this, but I know scientists like this. It looks like the lady down the hall that likes to help them out at the University d'Italia or whatever said, well, let me use my CAD student and let's see what you think of this. What do you think it looked like? He says, we'll have the pyramid, put this there. Best I see, I'm calling it a spiral thing that goes down, or a column thing. I'll get to people saying stuff about that the other day. And then, yeah, it looks like there's a spiral around it. So somebody draws that. And then the Skeptard's going, I don't think the Temple of Avanti is down there, and all this. And they do bring some of that stuff up because they tie it to myth. I would in a paper. I like the papers that'll go ahead and say, oh, and by the way, and this wasn't even a paper, but by the way, this has been claimed for 3,000 years, right?
More than that. I mean, the
yeah.
Book of the Dead is one of the oldest documents in Egyptian mythology and history. And it talks about, like you said, a new civilization they found. I mean, the Book of the Dead talks about thousands of vases being found, right? They found, it's like they stumbled across this ancient culture that was there before. They talk about vases and 4 other articles or 3 other articles. So is that how he explained the rendering happened then?
No. That's why I said I don't really know. But that's what scientists will do. Yeah. And then they'll just throw them in there and not say, okay, I'm opening my ass to a lot of unnecessary criticism. How could I present this more like these wave? I mean, it's just, they probably shouldn't do an artist rendering when you get right down to it.
Right.
Well, but they didn't. The paper's yet to be published.
Right.
This was like a PDF. That's a good way to call it.
Yeah. Was it in the Ethical Skeptic paper, Darren, before or after? Was it updated later on, do you think?
No, they know the whole thing better now, dude.
It was before, because I think the original scan was done quite a time before.
2022,
yeah, because Ethical Skeptic was talking about it, I want to say in 2023, maybe the fall. It was either
to the extent it got any attention, and all of us missed it.
Yeah, because there was that picture, that 3D rendering was in Ethical Skeptic's paper or PDF or whatever, his post or article.
I got a lot of takes on it, but so kid, let me chew through just a couple more. So I think holding them to the renderings is incorrect. As a basic matter, having worked with over 75 controversial PhDs closely over the last 30 years, because that's my gig, is controversial PhDs, and has been since long before I was charged for a ticket, right? And did it all for free, and wrote checks to them too. That, what am I trying to say? They don't throw their careers in technical fields away lightly.
Yeah. Like that's what you kind
of. No one does.
Yeah, you're like, why you
would literally have to be kind of crazy to be Filippo Biondi. Has 80 some published papers, and sometimes that's impressive, sometimes it's not. Depends on the content. It is impressive right off the bat. I only got 22, but he's got 80 some. And then you go look at him though. And of course, you don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, that stuff's just, you can kind of pick, we're all pretty good at that. You can tell what science he's talking about, but it's very dense technical stuff that is in legitimate journals. Okay, that's one they did after the 22 paper.
This is so this paper is from May 12th, 2024.
So a year ago, almost exactly a year ago.
Exactly a year ago, yeah.
Well, and that's from how did I miss? I mean, as any geek, how did I miss that? Hold on, I thought there was just a 2022 paper in remote sensing. Well,
yeah, he's
okay. Well, good. Since I'm running my mouth about this stuff every day, I think I need to read that.
This is a crazy paper. This is about exothermic and.
But who is the author?
The Ethical Skeptic.
Well, who's that?
He I don't even want to say the name that I have.
Well, is it Filippo or Armando?
No. This is a separate. It's an American.
This is an American.
Oh, okay. Well, help me get the context, because I got these two. I'm sitting here defending these two guys. I don't want them to have some kooky paper that I hadn't read or something, man.
Oh no, it won't be kooky from the Ethical Skeptic.
Yeah, okay, back to Filippo. Of his 81 papers, there's nothing in there about aliens. And why in the hell would you, after a 30-year career in radar tomography, and that doesn't really capture it, in radar tomography, suddenly throw itself away to pull the wool? And then, okay, what's pulling the wool over people's eyes mean in this case? At one level would have to be, you'd have to go like Photoshop those like multicolored spectral lines that emerge from this supposed technology. I mean, no one's going to do that. That's like Hunter Biden's laptop. You're like, come on. I mean, people, it's whatever. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So then, okay, if it's not that kind of fraud, then it's what? If it's not, you're saying they didn't have some collection of, I've been calling it microseismically induced acoustics, X-band radar, SAR, which everybody gets that wrong. You know, the first 3 weeks, it was all about how SAR can't look deeper than that. It's like, well, God, go read their first paper and even their thing. They're obviously got 3 pieces to the sauce, and then criticize that if you want. But you got microseismically induced acoustics, as I call it. This other thing, which is fairly well known, but always been pretty cool, that probably could use some improvement, and going to get a little better or whatever. And then they put them together with AI and better chips. And this guy's a mathematical genius. And that's what Armando called him on our show. He looked over at his friend, and who knows, maybe they've just been collaborating a year or two, but in one way or another, I need to go see it. He said he's a genius. And just as I would say about Alan West in the Comet Research Group, he's a genius. He's, you know, and other geniuses that know Alan frequently refer to him as the smartest person they've ever met. And I'm proud of that, but that's the Comet Research Group. So, yeah. You get some breakthrough people, and then okay, but this is kind of the end of my rant. I'll let y'all rant or do some more rant. The most important global security question on planet Earth, most of my adult life, has been, what the fuck are they doing under that mountain in Iran with the nuclear bombs? Okay, that's a big question, been around a long time. What's the configuration, contents, construction schedule, history, dimensions under Mount Nawaz or whatever it is in Iran and the other known underground nuclear facilities? I kind of figure we got that one figured out. I mean, if we have free energy and UFOs and all the other things that all of our other supposedly non-skeptical friends believe that we have, then I'm sure we can look through mountains. The U.S. government can. Okay. That's what my gut says. Okay. So that means there's a certain collection of instruments out there in the wild that someone is then taking data from and looking through that mountain. And eventually someone's going to come along, and because all that stuff exists, they're going to put that sauce together again, and it gets, call it reinvented, not to take anything away from Felipa, but it just, you put together what is not and then me and Jay Anderson agreed on this point, that to believe that remote sensing technology doesn't follow an improvement curve like other technologies. Now, a lot don't move along like they should, but anything associated with artificial intelligence seems to be moving along quite quickly lately. Now, Filippo could be lying about that. He could be doing some bullshit math that puts out a pretty graph. But until somebody goes and reads his entire to-come paper, because first of all, they unpublished on this, and goes and checks his math, because his math is all through that 22 paper. There's about a 15-page skip section. If you're flipping through it, there's just no way. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, maybe Randall's good at math. I mean, is that stuff look legit? Yeah, it just doesn't smell. It does not smell one single bit like a fraud. At most, it's a misinterpretation. And to then not give the technology, not to give the humans first, the gentlemen, the time to come to the Cosmic Summit and see what they got to say without running around on podcasts throwing shade.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Can we hire him to find that $21 trillion underground city that they built apparently in the States?
We can, because we think it's cool, and we're very hopeful and look forward to seeing them in Greensboro and hearing more from them. And don't assume that there's something askance. A favorite one the other day was, he said, there's no circular archaeology in Egypt. I've been all over Egypt, and there are no columns. You know, it's all square. Everything's square. Like if there's any hole in the ground, Osiris Shaft. I got a great little video. I've been in a fucking Osiris Shaft. It scared the shit out of me, man. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my entire life, without question. And so I got a little feel for it. And that's right. It's square. And the other little places you look down into, that's right. They're square. Who cares, man? Maybe whatever's under the pyramid just looks through their radar shit right now. Maybe it turns out to be square. Maybe that's one of the things that radar tomographers, like the 4 people who know this shit, hadn't quite tuned in yet. But they're getting something's happening down there, unless they're photoshopping it.
Well, there's circular.
The caverns. That's where Randall went. Just fair enough. Maybe it's. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right in Dundera, there's circular columns all over in that temple. I mean, there's lots of temples. I mean, maybe they're later. Maybe they're.
I guess they were talking about
later. Yeah, they're later. So you'd be thinking more about down and behind there and the Assyrian. And stuff like that. But I don't think it's. Yeah, but anyway, we're trying to get the ethical skeptic and Randall on the show at the same time, but he's trying to get some government job in the new administration right now, so he doesn't want to.
Oh, you did send the link. Thanks, man. Hold on.
Yeah, I put it in the.
I was about to ask you to. I want to open it before it disappears.
But this is there's some really captivating stuff in here.
I'll get AI to read it. Let me know what the fuck it says.
The catastrophic cycles for sure.
Oh, it looks great, man. It's right up my alley.
Really well thought out.
Is that the one with the pyramidal erosion? The pyramid erosion?
Yeah, this is the whole thing where he talks about the pyramids were underwater for a couple hundred years, and he thinks that the whole reason that pyramid.
Well, good on him. It's not a theory of absolutely fucking everything, is it?
No,
kind of looks like it.
But mainly that the pyramid only in there.
Not that I rule those people out. I'm just saying that's a different category.
The pyramid's only there to support the decoupling theory, because he says that each of those 2 shafts in the king's chamber point at different things depending on which. So the Earth just goes back and forth between 2 fucking cycles. There's one where it is now, and the other one it kind of twists a bit, and Antarctica ends up on the equator.
Well, is like the guy that has all the temples pointing different 3 or 4 different places, and he can track them?
No, it's different than that, I think.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's
I always liked that guy's thing. Yeah, I always thought there was a lot to that. I forget it.
This would be more of a continuation of Hapgood's.
The Nubian egg? I got a bunch of stuff in here. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's all sort of to support this theory that the Earth goes back and forth between two rotation things because of the
crustal rotations, Darren. Flips.
Yeah, so if you look up at what happens is that the core of the Earth isn't perfectly round. It's a little obtuse, and it's got a lopside. And there's this Jabankov effect that the Russians found, that if you take like a wing nut and spin it in space, it doesn't just keep spinning; it just keeps spinning fine. But then for some reason, every once in a while, it does it doesn't flip, and then it goes again and does a flip exactly the same way back. So but I mean, that's kind of what Hapgood said and stuff. I mean, crustal displacement, but it looks like this guy's got a good treatment of it.
I think it's
I mean, Hapgood stuff is hard to discredit. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that they've found, and you start taking even the Younger Dryas stuff of that. You know, maybe all this water didn't come from ice sheets. Maybe some of that water came up over the mountains and shit like that. Because basically, the idea would be that like the Earth would fucking stop spinning for a second, but all the water keeps going.
Yeah. Well, and Matt Bell was talking about that the other day. He's interested in it, and it goes west to east.
Yeah,
good, man.
It would come west to east, which starts to show you how like that all that salt water got into Lake Bonneville, right? Like the theory right now is that it all sort of washed out of the mountains and everything. It's like, well, I don't know. That doesn't seem to be happening every place else. You know what I mean?
I've never been into the, and Salt Lake is the, the puddle it left behind after the wave and all that. And, or the infill from the sea. And I believe in catastrophic floods. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Rocky Mountains were made in a long weekend. I bet you could have surfed from fucking California to Kansas. I mean, I believe in all that shit. I'm not sure when or whatever or exactly how it happened. So I don't mean to seem like a skeptic. But what am I saying? That the salt deposits. Maybe. I mean, when you have a mile or two of seawater and it all evaporates, does it really collect all down in the lowest part? Maybe, I guess so. I mean, the salt's got to go somewhere, but I don't know. It's kind of funny. I can believe all that stuff, and I did for some reason that one doesn't seem right to me.
That one's yeah, this is basically the model there of the second state that the Earth slips into, which lines up with a bunch of stuff we talk about on the show, which is interesting, right? Why all these ancient cultures were obsessed with tracking the movements of the stars and what the fuck is going on in Antarctica. Because the interesting thing about the model is that in the second state, Antarctica would be, you know, right in that spot of
but Darren, one of my other things, you know, and I'm a catastrophist, so like I say, everything's on the table. But I mean, if you start saying this is what caused the Younger Dryas event, for instance, I got to part ways, I suppose. You know, for one, I'm a co-director of the Comet Research Group and on 20 published papers that say that it was, you know, the Taurid meteor stream. So that's and I'm not that sure of that either. But
no, that's
where would you be on that? Because I know you probably, or is Comet Research Group passe, and now we've got to have, you know, there's one guy that's got it right.
I don't think it has to be either or.
13. Well, do you think that, does he say the 13,000 year event? That's the way to pose it.
No, he doesn't have a time cycle on it.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
Like there's good evidence that this shit happens. He's kind of found some.
Yeah, there could be several cosmically catastrophic cycles. Yeah. Just like the sun.
Yeah.
I'm more scared of the sun than I am comets, and I'm like a comet guy.
Yeah,
I'm much more scared of the sun. There's zero chance a fucking comet's gonna fuck with us anytime soon. But man, we could have a bad day from, you know.
Yeah, I think you're looking at just sort of there's a bunch of different things that can go wrong at any sort of given moment. The interesting thing about this one though is because I feel like the comets are always going to be more of a fucking catch you by surprise sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas there seems to be evidence that these cultures knew some shit was coming, right? I was just talking about this on the last show. People probably bitch, but it's like we've got these giant stone structures and stuff like that. Maybe there's just the remnants, but I still argue that the way that looks like a lot of them were still being worked on, and at the time they would have been putting these moais in Easter Island up at the top of the fucking tallest mountain in town, and you know it's like.
Well, unless that's sunk, right? Unless the isostatic compression sunk it so that we don't know what was at the top. I mean, it might have been, you know, somewhere up there, but not at the top. Because
you could watch that whole chain of islands go across there that probably would have been exposed almost the whole way with less.
Hey, you know, we got the mega tsunami expert coming to the Cosmic Summit.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Joanne Ballard.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, not Joanne. Who am I trying to say? Dallas Abbott. Excuse me. Dallas is coming.
Okay.
I mean, Joanne's
on the timeline, shit gets crazy all the time in ways that we just can't fucking comprehend.
Oh, I've read Ragnarok.
Yeah, we have it on audio now, George. I thought you might.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there you go.
No kidding, man. No, it was one of those fundamental books that I'm like,
right. It's pretty good. It was way better than I expected it to be.
I'm a big fan. And not thinking Ignatius Donnelly was just a damn badass, man. He's a damn politician. And
which one was better, that one or
Atlantis?
Atlantis.
I can't remember, but I have definitely. I mean, it's going back. 25 years ago. See, I've got my time in on this. And that's the other thing kind of bugs me these days is when I started this event, I was like, I went on a fair amount of podcasts starting about 2016 or 17 up to the day I started this event. Because like now my lane is, to the extent that anybody knows who the fuck I am, I'm like this pitch man, out waving around, go buy a ticket, right? And that's my role in these things. Well, no, damn it. I mean, I used to like have a thing, be a just regular old catastrophist that had some inside knowledge from these scientists, What's my point there?
Well, that'll learn you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and now I'm like P.T. Barnum instead of
well, let's talk about that a little bit then. Let's give picture summit. I mean, we're going to be there. I can share the screen here and you can pull up your website. I mean,
I'm very proud of the website, which is always rare.
This is it. So here it is. I mean,
people just go check out the website. I'm not going to, sit here and talk for a few minutes about it and try to convince you what a great thing it is. But I think you can see, I hope you can, that we got a lot of stuff packed in this year, man. And we didn't like I said, lost money a couple of years. You could have gone the other way, of course, and said, okay, we're going to change this thing. But now we just upped the ante across the board. We got field trip, keep saying that's really not true. They shown it once in Spain, a U.S. premiere, exclusive U.S. premiere of Atlantica, a film made by Michael Donnellan, and you can go watch the trailer on YouTube. Atlantica with a there's a K, isn't it? But it's beautiful. There's I've seen the documentary, and the end is astonishing. It's one of the best things in the whole Atlantis thing. It is with a C. I don't know why. It's great. So we're going to premiere that. We're going to have big parties in the biggest disco in the South. And we got some great VIP stuff. Very important. I got to learn to say these kind of like program note things. I mean, really, because it can screw things up. But we've got $179 hotel rooms, which is pretty good at a Sheraton Four Seasons, as they call them, right? And you got to say that you're with the Cosmic Summit. Please remember to ask for the discount with the Cosmic Summit and make your hotel reservation as soon as you can, because that just helps me sleep at night, because I owe them 900 room nights, right? And every room night that you don't sell, you got to give them that 175 or 179. So it's like me going and, renting out, oh, how many nights you want at the Sheraton, Georgia? I have 225 in one lousy weekend. But it didn't, that went okay last year, but I'd rather have people make reservations for their hotel rooms. But those are the people that obviously would have bought. If you're not even to the point of getting a hotel room yet, go check out the different tickets. We got 3 general admission tickets and then 3 VIP tickets. And we, I mentioned earlier, but we have 6 meals, 2 breakfasts, 2 great lunches, and 2 killer dinners, and a big old Southern North Carolina barbecue. And as I've said many times, the hotel is privately owned by friends that I've known since we were all high school buddies. And it's the Courys, Koury. And it's 4 sisters, and now their husbands help run this real estate empire. They're on 85. It's at the confluence of 4 different interstates. So it's the most logistically convenient place to drive to on the East Coast of the United States, where you don't get into a traffic jam at the end. Atlanta has a lot of highways too, but I don't want to go anywhere near Atlanta. Greensboro, anybody can drive to Greensboro in 8 hours on the East Coast. And so they've got a giant hotel there because it's logistically perfect, and it's the largest hotel in North Carolina. It's got 1,000 rooms, and it's run by the guy. Okay, here's a good one. In your social circle, the whole point of the Cosmic Summit is it's kind of rare to have somebody out of all your bowling buddies or whatever the hell, golf buddies, or to have anybody that gives a shit about these subjects if you're leading another normal life, which you should. And then it's kind of something you do with the internet or with your best buddies in the subjects like you two, right? And you don't go to see people. Well, in my social circles, my point is the guy that is most interested in all of this stuff happened to own a 1,000 room hotel. Kelly Harrell loves these subjects, man. He's a huge Randall fan. His wife, Kelly Corey Harrell, could not wait to see Randall. They listened to all of our podcasts, and they happen to be the people who can really help out. And believe me, having a hotelier that is way into your subject and has the largest private indoor room in North Carolina. The room we're in is 1 acre. Is not in an arena, right? An indoor called a ball. I don't know. It's a Broadway stage, and it's 1 acre. You could put 5,000 people in there. But we're shooting for 500 or 600. And if it hit that, we'll do it again and again and again and again. But if it's damn 395 or something like that, and I'm paying for those hotel rooms, Cosmic Summit is going to be like the Younger Dryas period, a time of great trauma that finally broke.
Well, I know we got a bunch of our listeners coming, so hopefully a few more.
I know you do. I don't mean to ticket shame people either, but buy now. And so we got Atlantica, We're going to have a bunch of free liquor because I got 10 cases of vodka left over from last year. Long story there. So everybody's got to drink vodka. Don't come unless you want to pay for it. And
Are you doing the class? So you're doing the classroom thing again?
yes, thank you very much, Graham. Yeah, there are two kinds of tickets. Well, there are different kinds within each class. There are two classes of tickets. There's 2 days, Saturday and Friday night too. More of a social part, but you're paying for 27 speakers that are all going to have an hour or an hour and a half, one after another, starting at 8:30 and ending about 6. And of course, you'll have a served lunch and then a dinner, killer dinner, because again, it's a family-owned hotel, right? And they were just those kind of people. They're just not going to serve bad food, and they'll be there to make sure it's not bad. So there are 2 days, 27 speakers. And then on Monday, just like last year, we have a deeper dive day, and Graham's participating in that. And that takes the form of having 3 rooms, the 2 breakouts and the main stage, without any particular main stage bias or whatnot, where a certain subject set and a kind of a lead speaker will go at it for 3.5 hours in the morning. 3 of those in the morning, another 3.5 hours in the afternoon. I believe it's that long. And so Randall's got sacred geometry, and he's going to have, the little tools of sacred geometry. It's going to be hands-on. I mean, it's going to be classroom with Randall, right? And I've actually not done that. I've heard his lectures on sacred geometry. It changed my view on a lot of things, man. In Sedona, like I always think sacred geometry was like a thing of Randall's, but I was his catastrophist buddy, right? And I always thought it sounded like math mixed with church or something. Like, oh God, I'm just not interested in that. And then I heard Randall talk about it out in Sedona, and I was like, holy shit, man, that's interesting. And then you go meet Malcolm Bendall, and I took one of the deepest dives into sacred geometry in the history of man, traveled to India. I mean, God knows. I got to the bottom of it. And actually, I didn't get to the bottom of it. But Randall will come teach you why there is another set of math out there. Thank you for going to the page, and that's in the afternoon. That's right. Go back to the morning, if you will, Graham, and I'll try to walk us through quickly, which I can do better having seen it. So the Atlantis debate, the first one at the top, is what Graham's participating in, and it's one of those interesting questions that even within our own most overused phrase, going to think of something, our own subject sets. I don't want to say community. It's controversial where you call it. People, it's opinionated. I think it's here. I think it's there. That's an interesting thing. So what we're going to do is get people who think it's somewhere in a room with all of them might have an opinion. I mean, we know anybody that's signed up for any these kind of things has probably come across David Stig Hansen. Do y'all know that name?
Not off. Graham probably does. He's read all the books.
He's the guy that's gone out to Rishot 3 times alone.
I've seen some of his good videos. Yeah. I mean, interesting.
And he's not sponsored by Polaroid or anything. Yeah. Or no. This guy's like scraping together his lunch money, going to Mauritania, hiring, planes, trains, automobiles until you go deep into the Sahara, and he takes good videos out there. And he's just an interesting damn guy. He's an explorer. So he's also part of our new thing, the Explorers Club, which is going to be a panel hosted by Nerdrotics, Gary Buechler.
Nice. That's
right.
Great.
I'm so thank God, I got to be a better pitchman. There's a lot of components to this thing, and you forget the things mentioned. That's a cool new thing.
So Gary, Club is part of the main, like the normal main stage lineup, or
yeah. It's just like instead of another speaker for an hour and a half.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a great idea. Yeah,
that's right. You bring on people, and the Explorers Club is made up of people who go around, and the way I think of it, not necessarily strictly true, but with GoPros on their heads at some place that you want to go see and go walk around. It started with Ben. I mean, it was Ben's whole thing with the pyramids. You go walk around and just take video. Now, it's going to be edited, but you don't feel like you're watching a National Geographic. You're watching something cooler, which is some normal guy walking around and giving his take, maybe. And all of the people in the Explorers Club do that. I could tick them off, but let's tick off the Atlantis debate. And that's, Dan Richards, D. Dunker Dan, who everybody loves, man, came on the scene this year and knows how to really pick apart some of the critics' approaches to this. And Dr. Danny Hillman, and that might not ring a bell with people, but the subject will. That's the archaeologist behind Gadang Padang in Indonesia. And he's coming all the way from remote Indonesia to Greensboro, North Carolina, as an archaeologist to tell us what he's been studying there at that clear temple site for 20 years. Maybe he'll run into Filippo Biondi in Armanda. Wouldn't that be an interesting? Yeah, why not? They got to go look at things up, from up there. Michael Donnellan, who is the intrepid producer and lead investigator in Atlantica, right? And he produced the film, but he's also leading dives, et cetera, and so forth. And he's a badass. And if ladies care, just seemed to me, he's like really good looking. He just looks like some fucking dude, you know what I mean? Just like, this guy's a badass. Even I can recognize that, And then you got David Stig Hansen, probably not as good looking, but quite a fella. And then you wrap it up with Grimerica's Grand Dunlop. It's going to make the whole panel, right?
It's going to be good.
Yeah, it'll be great. I can't.
And then we're going to split people up. We're going to split the room up kind of one way or another and get people in the audience. Say, what do you think? Coming in, what do you think? And maybe you guys ask some questions. Just see if we could get and obviously, debates. This will be the friendliest debate you've ever seen, but it'll be funny and fun. And then Ancient Egypt with Ben Van Kerkwijk and Yusuf Awan. And you can imagine what that's about. Lost technologies, misunderstanding the pyramids. Keep going, sir. Breakthrough technology with my guru in a lot of ways these days, like the guy that I listen to every word he says. I'm not listening to all his content, but I'm good friends with Bob. I've been to Switzerland with him. I know his wife and kids. We hung out in India for 10 days. I mean, I've gotten to the bottom, not to the bottom of Bob. Bob's my guru, man. That guy is fucking onto something. He's just a genius.
I think he's one of the most important people for this movement right now. In the world,
thank you for agreeing with me, and I know you do because you have paid attention to Bob from the beginning, Graham. You don't get people like that.
Yeah,
and he's a character, man. People don't know who he is, but he's the cold fusion guy.
And Ashton Forbes is going to play a bigger role this year, and Malcolm's not coming back with the
Malcolm's not coming back. He didn't even contact me. It's not like we're on the outs. It's just that he sucked so much chi from my soul that it'll take like another 10 years to just have enough energy to re-engage with that.
Well, you should infuse yourself with some plasma. I mean, that would do it. That'll get your chi back. I mean,
there you go.
That's pretty good.
Among other things, he cost me my marriage, but let's continue. Okay, so Ashton Forbes, who's the coolest,
but he's been a busy guy too. I mean, I'm sure he's out there doing it, right? So
Malcolm,
yeah, I mean, he's been.
God, let's move on.
Yeah.
Ashton Forbes is the MH370 guy, man, who's just not let up on the orbs around.
Oh no, he's gone further. He's gone further.
Oh, he's gone much deeper than that. And he's got a huge following. Just go look him up, man. He's going to be there. I mean, those two may cause some arc of electricity to appear between them. Anything could happen. And then you got Sacred Geometry with Randall. That speaks for itself. Please go on. And you'll get a Randall branded compass. I was trying to think. And the Knights Templar, which, is the two top. Well, Tim Hogan is it's very hierarchical structures, those things. Like, who's the most knowledgeable Templar in the world.
He's the GM.
Or call it Mason.
GM, the Grand Master.
He's the man. I mean, he's supposed to carry on the tradition that goes all the way back to Atlantis, as he will tell you, and will tell you that afternoon.
Well, it's interesting because this is all like, it seems like they're prime. There's a bunch of these societies that are saying it's time to reveal stuff, right? It really is on almost every level, whether it's like UFOs or ancient technology and all that, or whether it's free energy. the secret society stuff, it's all coming out. It's all
It is, man.
revealing. It's an amazing.
Well, sometimes I wonder whether it's just me, like you get kind of,
it's happening.
I know y'all feel that same feeling, but it's like, God knows I'm kind of into these subjects and they keep getting bigger and bigger. I mean, I saw the Younger Dryas from all the way back to 1998 with Firestone and the original guy. Yeah. I mean, and then it got big a year later. I mean, 10 years later, and you could fill a minivan with us.
Yeah.
And that knew what we were talking about. And now it's millions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, Joe Rogan talks about it every fucking third show. And I remember it was some obscure term that I used as a password because no one knew what it was. A Younger Dryas.
When I was in your classroom last year,
yeah,
all 3 lecturers had Hal Puthoff in their presentation somewhere. He's been on Rogan. I mean, basically disclose. I mean, he's, it's all coming out now. I mean,
the fact that he's an immortal, lends some credibility that the man hasn't deteriorated like the rest of us do. Okay. And Jacques Vallée, you're right. Him too. It's like, hold on. How are you in a movie as an adult man? They portray you in 77 and you still go on podcasts? Oh my God. Okay. And we'll wrap this part up and I'll let your audience go. The YDIH story, which is close to my heart, obviously, and I'll be joining that panel, and that's with all PhDs. Mark is a stalled one right now, but we give him, he is definitely a scientist and an archaeologist, and myself, all people part of the Comet Research Group. So we're going to kind of go through what we know about this, which is one hell of a lot. I mean, and there are things there I want to ask some of those other people. And I've never been in a room with Gunther Kletschka. I've been on an email chain with the guy for 20 years.
Yeah,
I feel like I know Gunther. We call it, his name's Jen. I don't know why he has this strange nickname. Somehow they get G-I-N, Jen from Gunther. But I can't wait to meet the guy, man. He's coming all the way to Czechoslovakia. Okay, and then we're going to have a big jamming party after that. But Monday is a separate ticket. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, you could come just Monday if you wanted, right? But we'd like people to do both if they can afford it, and if they can, we're gonna have a big jamming party on Monday night. So I think we got through the highlights of that, guys, and I really appreciate y'all's support for this event, carrying these subjects forth as we both tried to do now for more than a decade.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man. Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate what you're doing. And use Grimerica code Grimerica25 for 10% off. And we'll get a tiny little splash in the money dish from that. So
that's exactly right.
Use that code. And we'll see it. We'll see you there. It's gonna be awesome.
Food, inexpensive hotel rooms, and like people you can sit around with somebody and they probably know what the black mat is. I mean, what are the odds of that? You don't see that in normal circles, but it's got a real good vibe to it, and y'all contributed to it each year, and we're going to do it again this year, bigger and better.
Looking forward to it. I'm going to fly to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think Bill Loeb's listening. He's going to be pissed because I was going to go to Atlanta, but I couldn't get a direct flight. So I can get a direct flight to Tennessee, and then I'm going to drive over with.
Oh, that'll be a great drive. You ever driven like that part of the United States?
Never been. So I was like, man, that sounds like a pretty good drive. I heard a lot of good things about Tennessee. I've never been to Nashville. So
that's great, man. One of the parts of this is, people coming in. We've had over 35 countries come in 2 years. I mean, that's a lot, and bring them this kind of strange place in the United States. But those people get to come in, like Mark Young from Australia. This will be a second trip to North Carolina. And Gunther Kletschka, I got a feeling he's never been to Greensboro.
Yeah.
And then but having them come and stay around afterwards or come early, which most of them are, like Praveen. Well, Praveen's been back and forth the U.S. his whole damn life, but whatever. Other people, they'll come and then hang around, and some of them you've helped get over here for the first time. Yeah.
That's the special part about it, right? Is it's not just somebody coming in and they're leaving right after their lecture's done. I mean, they're hanging around, they kind of mingle, everybody's kind of mingling around. So it's more personal than just watching a professional lecture and you don't get to talk to the guy.
And I think when you have these weekends that have 6 to 8 speakers or something, Yeah, I don't know. You can't, and had a whole bunch of people. I don't know if you've got 27 speakers and 500 people in 72 hours. There's plenty of time to meet Randall Carlson. I mean, without bugging him.
Yeah.
You know, you can go get that picture. I mean, everybody's the speakers are cycling out of the audience constantly, right? And that's pretty cool. Now, these aren't super famous people, but then we got all these featured guests. You know, there are all sorts of other people. You can go on the website and look there, just interesting folks that'll be there, and they're all obviously sitting in the audience with you. Yeah, so it's June 20th, and we're going to have a field trip up to Pilot Mountain. I'm going to say real quickly because it's actually coming together, this pipe dream. We're going to take 2 buses up 45 miles away and go to a monadnock, one of 2 on the east coast of the U.S., and the other one doesn't even really look like one to me. But it's a gigantic granite dome that rises 1,900 feet out of the Piedmont, where it's little rolling hills, but then all of a sudden there's this gigantic, twice the size of the tallest buildings in New York, plug of pure granite. And it's called Pilot Mountain. And as somebody who grew up right there in Greensboro, it was always, literally on the horizon. And as you went up our little skyscrapers in Greensboro, you could see Pilot Mountain. And went on school trips there. You never think there's anything cool about it. But then the older you get and you find out the Cherokee used to hike all the way out of the mountains, man. They lived way back in those mountains. They didn't live on the edge of North Carolina's mountains. And they would come all the way where you're going to do that drive from Tennessee through those mountains, get out of the mountains, walk another 45 miles just to do the corn festival at Pilot Mountain. And apocryphally, probably, you had to take your moccasins off 20 miles from it, that it was so sacred. And if you were a European explorer, say a Scott Walters type, long ago and unrecorded or whatnot, and then many recorded, you would walk into the east coast of North America. You'd probably be in North Carolina, where the first colony was, for various reasons. And if you walked in, it'd be the first thing you saw. You wouldn't see the Appalachian Mountains yet. You wouldn't see the Rockies early, that shit. You'd see this thing, right? So you knew the Indians revered it. And now we're going to try to re-revere it and go up there and get a lecture from Randall. And we're going to hear from some other special guests that are controversial.
When is that?
That's Friday night from 6 o'clock to roughly 9. And we're going to watch the sunset. Oh, and the kicker is it casts a perfect pyramidal shadow. A mountain, it looks like actually a little bit like a Mayan temple, and I won't bother you with a screen share now. We're at the end of the show, but go look up Pilot Mountain Shadow and all that stuff. The guy that wrote a book is a vendor at the Cosmic Summit, become a good friend, and there's just a lot of weird things about that mountain, And we're going to go up there and see it on the solstice, right? The longest day of the year. Maybe there'll be a good vibe up there.
Yeah, it sounds great. Wow.
Particularly if somebody will sneak a 12-pack up there. That's one of the state parks. No, I don't want anybody bringing any booze.
Or some gummies,
Now there's an idea.
There's some Grimerica gummies over there.
I hope that doesn't violate any kind of state park rules to come in and already have 20 grams or whatever, 20 milligrams.
George, this has been great. Where can people get these tickets? Where can they find the blog? Is it all just Cosmic Summit?
Yeah, well, it's cosmicsummit.com. And then all of our social media is now conformed to @Cosmic Summit. And like I say, there's fresh content every day. And now I'm starting to do these live streams. So roughly days I can, and even weird times when I'm going to try to around noon every day, get on at least until the summit and just run my mouth. So if anybody wants to hear me run my mouth, I'm going to be doing it. Yeah. Okay.
Is that part of the Foxhole sort of theme or?
Nah, this is just me hitting that live button on Riverside, and it goes out to all the platforms. And because right now you got stuff to talk about. Hey, let me make one final point. If one of these speakers is right, vast swaths of the history you have been told is wrong.
Yeah.
If just one of them is. And there are about 27 different studies. It's not like they're all talking about the same thing. But that's pretty damn interesting weekend. because several of those people are right. And if all of them are right, that's the smartest room in the world. That there's no university in the world that's going to get you closer to the truth if some of these general themes, much less the specifics, are all correct. Yeah.
Love it. Right on, buddy.
Well, thanks. Okay, well, let's come hear the truth. Where the truth goes to party.
All right.
Okay, check our merch out too.
Okay.
Okay, over and out.
Okay, see ya.
Okay.
Ciao. And that was our chat with George Howard, Cosmic Summit 2025. I'm looking forward to getting down there. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, me too.
My first time doing a bunch of stuff. It'll be good to meet George. Good to see the gang again. So get your tickets. Come on down. America 25. We're going to have a time in like 6 weeks, I guess. About 6 weeks, almost exactly 6 weeks from today. So get on it. How does that work? Today, what day is it today?
I know. I was thinking the same thing. There's a countdown on the website. I'm like, is it really that close? Like I thought
it must be like
43 days. 43 days away.
And 6 weeks is what? 42. So it's 6 weeks from tomorrow?
Yeah, from tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, Friday, Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Anyway, check it out. CosmicSummit.com. Support us. GrowAmerica.ca/support. And if you want to come on one of our trips, of course, the contact at thecabin.com. If you want some gummies for the trip, GrowAmericaCBD.com. Adultbrain.ca for all those audio books and stuff like that. The books we're talking about, Ragnarok and Atlantis and all that good stuff. And GrowAmericaOutlawed.ca and the alist.ca for our Canadian stuff. Gramerica Outlawed for the non-Canadian taboo stuff. And Spam Graham, GrammaticAmerica.com. Other than that, we love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next week.